man. So what's on my mind? I should mention, this is related to basically nothing. But the idea is like, yo, watching a Ben 10 lore analysis video.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, you know how whenever he transforms, like, it's like completely random when the transformation will wear off?
Yeah.
Like, sometimes it takes like a few, like, seconds, and sometimes it's like, you know, seemingly like hours. Yeah, there's actually like a line that explains that crap. Cause like, yeah, the prayers of the Omnitrix are like really small and like intelligent.
Yeah, it's that one little, the gray alien looking dude.
Yeah. There's a line where Ben, like, just gives him crap about his device not working right. And he just straight up says, like, oh, yeah, that's because you don't have any dexterity in you, boy. You know, it's like, if you didn't keep, like, smacking the thing every time, then the timeout function wouldn't be set to a random variable each time you use it.
Oh, so because the way he activates it, it's
because
dumb.
he just smacks it like an idiot.
To be fair, he's a dumb 10-year-old with a basically Noah's Ark device.
Yeah.
That lets him, yeah.
There's another interesting thing they brought up, which is that it's like, oh yeah, why does the Omnitrix just, like, randomly turn him into aliens he doesn't want, like, just at a moment's notice?
Mm-hmm.
And it turns out that might also kind of be explained, because there are points where it's implied that the Omnitrix itself has, like, sentience and can, like, you know, like, think and make decisions and stuff. So it's like the implication seems to be that it's like, you know, it's like coded to his DNA and it's like part of him. So it's like trying to make decisions based on the situation and it's making wrong picks like in place of what Vin wants. So it's like sometimes it'll pick something he doesn't want and it'll work out and be a better pick for the task. And other times it'll just be like, oh yeah, water, I should pick a flying creature then. And it's like a horrible idea.
The device itself isn't very smart, huh?
Yeah. To be fair, it's learning from, like, Ben, who's kind of an idiot, but still.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's like some line where Ben's like, yeah, it just kinda seems to like do what it wants sometimes, but you know, yeah, I've just kinda learned that it's better to just roll with what it gives me than to like, you know, really like worry about it. And it's like, yeah, you know what? Fair enough. Fair enough. But yeah. I don't think there's much else I really want to, like, get into. One thing I do want to quickly mention is that, like, yeah, for movie night, we finally saw Joker. Oh boy, that definitely is a movie about society. That's the thing. So I feel like I have much to say about it, because it's like, yeah, good movie is good, like, who would have thought? The one thing I do want to point out is that it's like, you can very clearly feel this was not intended to be a comic book movie, and they just sort of like, you know, like, changed some elements around to make it about the Joker. So there's just randomly a scene where they're like, they feel like they're extra desperate to be like, okay, yo, we need to prove that this was meant to be a Joker film, so, here's just a scene where Joker meets, like, Bruce Wayne as, like, a kid. And it's, like, just completely out of nowhere, and it's the most useless, weird, like, awkward scene in the film. And they just, you know, push him away, and they're like, okay, yeah, done. We got Alfred in there, you know, you saw, like, you know, young Batman there, now it works. Oh, man. But yeah, good movie is good. Anything else we really want to get into before we start this off?
Not really.
Alright, yeah. So yeah, Digimon. Freaking episode 35 of Digimon Frontier. Oh boy.
This one's fine, I think.
Yeah, this one's fine. I do have some complaints with it, but it's like, for the most part, yeah, this is fine. This is like, we are very quickly hitting the exact moment where Frontier starts turning bad, and just starts becoming like, okay, the fight should have just ended after they beat Cherubimon.
Yeah. This is the beginning of all the characters who are Kochi and Takuya becoming pointless.
Yeah. It just starts off with, like, they're, like, trying to fight Cherubimon, because of course. And because of the light in the room, for some weird reason, all of their attacks are, like, being misdirected, specifically at their ally's face.
Yeah. The only one that makes any sense at all that I'll buy is that, like, oh, there's so much light that the power of darkness doesn't work well in here, and it's like, okay, fine, but then that's it's like, fair, your fire attack missed because I don't know, the light.
It's so funny because the first time I watch, it's like, Artemon just like. First, Cherubimon just takes a hostage, and he just picks up, friggin', like, Laomon. And Artemon's like, alright, I'll just shoot at Cherubimon then. And he fires the shots, and they curve and hit Laomon in the face. And it's like, it's so funny, because I'm like, wait, did he just miss? Excuse me?
First, I was like, okay, he's moving them in front of himself to block the attack. No, the shots are curving to hit them.
Yeah, it's like, you look at it's like Cherubimon's hand doesn't move, so at first it just looks like Artemon intentionally shoots him for some reason, and it's really, really funny to me.
Yeah.
Just the idea of, like, oh, you can take a hostage, but that doesn't matter if I kill them first.
And then the plot point ceases to mean anything because they grab Cherubimon under the arms and carry him out of the room.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's like, they're like, oh, hey, the line here is a problem, we can't fight like this, and they're like, okay, let's just move them, and they just do it, and it's like, oh, that was easy.
Why don't we just take Cherubimon and push him somewhere else?
So here's the thing, it's like, earlier we had the fight against Cherubimon's clone. Cherubimon's clone seems to take way more damage than Cherubimon himself, and it just shrugs it off. Like, Cherubimon's clone is so much tankier than he is seemingly, it's kind of nutty.
Chalk it up to the clone probably not feeling any pain or anything, because it's basically like a hologram, like a physical hologram.
Sure, why not?
That's how I'm gonna explain it.
Because the thing is that it's like, ultimately the heroes need to evolve to beat him, so, how, like, hurt he seems to be by attacks is just, like, it's just kind of pointless. It's like, it's just there because if they were doing literally nothing, it wouldn't be much of a fight scene, would it?
Also, just more instances of Fairymon, Shootmon just being the weakest.
Oh, yeah. It's like, alright, they pushed, like, Cherubimon out, and it's like, okay, well, while they're doing that, everyone else is to, like, free Ophanimon. So we get this wonderful scene of every single character, like, breaking the crystals around the points of light that hold up Ophanimon's cage. And they're like, okay, yeah, we just have to break the crystals, and everyone does it, and Fairymon's like, yeah, I got this, and she does her butt attack, and it does literally nothing. It just hard cuts to like the two comic relief characters just literally face palming. Like they literally just like, just face palm, just staring at Fairymont, just fail, just smashing her ass into the wall. And they're like, oh no, why? Oh jeez, that's bad.
Yeah, so she needs her beast spirit to keep up with everybody else in their base forms.
Yeah.
I think that's something we already knew, but still it hurts to see it again.
Is like the only thing I remember about this episode. I remember that scene and like nothing else. Is the fact that the comic relief characters are just like, oh, come on. Is like, it really hammers home. Just like, why would the writers do this? That's the thing, is watching it back, I'm like, oh, maybe I misinterpreted as a kid. Maybe this is meant to be like, oh yeah, Fairymon fails, but then like everyone gets captured and Fairymon's supposed to do something cool to like, like, yeah, like she dodges Trubymon's attack or something to like, get him to destroy the final chain, and that's how she'll like prove herself, Like, maybe they're setting up a whole, like, like, arc with this, and it's like, no, in fact, Fairymon's even more useless. Because Fairymon is so useless that Ophanimon has to literally break out of the cage herself to save her.
Yeah, I was like, okay, bait out the lightning javelin and then dodge it so that he attacks the cage. No, she just gets like knocked into the cage, and Ophanimon just breaks out of her own cage, and it's really pathetic.
I guess they just weakened it enough for her to do that, but it's like, holy crap, the writers really don't like Izumi, huh? It's like, alright. I'm thinking back, and it's like, alright, Izumi's like, she's got some moments, but it's like, all she does is she fights the one female villain, and they just have a cat fight. And her big other fight is a rematch with the same person again.
Yeah.
It's like, the only time she's allowed to succeed is when she's fighting another female character.
Yeah. All they had to do to make it a little less awful this episode is she uses Bretzel Petalo on the wall and it breaks it instead of trying to do her butt bump thing.
Yeah.
That's all they had to do.
Or heck, like, alternatively, maybe everyone has to go beast form, and they all just go beast mode immediately and then just blast the things, right? Because of course, yeah.
But it's sad
it's the fact that she's singled out.
Yeah, it's just sad that even Chakamon's like little snowball cannon can break a wall, and if like the sound effects and like the actual visual effects of that attack feel so weak.
Oh yeah. The power of Izumi's butt is not strong enough. Oh, man. She needs to take lessons from Princess Peach in the Smash Brothers games. When that ass hits you, it explodes.
It used to.
It used to.
Now it makes like a heart effect.
I prefer the
fun.
explosion, yeah. The fact that Princess Peach just bumps you and causes a literal blast radius is so much better. But
I guess they just wanted like Peach's attacks to be less aggressive.
What do you mean, like, exploding someone with your rear is a bit aggressive? But yeah, so they like do the whole thing and they like free Ophanimon. And then things get kind of dumber. Because Ophimon's like, okay, I'll, like, deal with Cherubimon now. Hey, Cherubimon, who wants head pats? And it weirdly just kind of works.
Yeah. And to this episode's credit, I was like, okay, like, she starts doing the head pat thing, and it starts, like, healing him and turning him good again. And then she just steals the Digivices that the kids lost and throws them back. And my immediate thought is, why didn't she just purify him? And the answer is he's too far gone.
Yeah.
And they give an explanation.
Yeah, I felt like that was, like, pretty, like, immediately, like, clear. It's like, she tries to purify him and he's too far gone, but, like, something inside of him still, I guess, like, acknowledges her and he comes over for the head pats. And she tries to fix him back, and it doesn't work. And even Cherubimon's like, what the crap was that?
Yeah. Which, the weirdest part is that Cherubimon seems oddly okay with it if she can do it.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, oh, you're going to purify me? And then he slowly approaches her and puts his head down, and it's like, oh,
yeah.
I guess there's some part of him that wants to be healed, but, like...
It's such a weird way to, like... Yeah, because I feel like I kind of get what they're going for. It's like, oh yeah, deep down he's still, like, the same good person. But it's such a weird way to do this. Like, in my head, it's like, I feel like this should go down like The Exorcist or something, where it's like, they have to, like, physically restrain him, and then Ophiomon does the thing as he's, like, screaming and stuff, Because, yeah, of course the evil part of him wouldn't want that. He'd be like, no, get away from me. Yeah, we've started hitting the weird stuff. Yeah, I feel like we've started hitting the weird stuff.
I kind of appreciate that, like, Cherubimon is deeper than, like, I am evil to kill everything, and it's like, like, there is a part of him that wishes to be, like, saved, but, like,
it could have been, like, yeah.
When it doesn't work, he gets upset.
Yeah, you know how they should have done this, because I'm thinking this through. It's like, yeah, she should have, like, blasted him with the thing, and he should have, like, came back for a minute and been like, thank you for, and they, like, stops, and then, like, reverts back, and he's like, how dare you? Like, I thought there was... Yeah.
I thought there was going to be a moment where she goes to heal him, and then it works for a second, and then he turns back. And I thought for sure he was going to be like, ha, you fool, you thought that would work, or whatever. Like, yeah. But nah, it didn't happen. Which, like I said, I'm fine with. I'm actually fine with how, like, this episode in general is, actually.
Also, side note, Supflow. And, like, think about it, I feel like we hit the weird stuff a while ago. We hit the weird stuff at, like, Ranamon's tickle torture.
Yeah, this is when the series starts to genuinely suck. This is when the series genuinely starts to suck.
It's been pretty weird, yeah.
Yeah.
We hit the weirdness at Ranamon's big, like, effing beach episode, where, like, everyone just steals the Digivices, and, like, they just assume that that, like, Junpei's, like, perving on or whatever. Like, that was weird enough. But yeah, so... Yeah, trying to heal Cherubimon doesn't work. Ophiomon trying to find him doesn't really work. The only thing she can do is, like, teleport everyone away and, like, use her power to, like, upgrade the main duo's Digivices. Because, of course, it's just them and no one else. Of course, it's just the main two, like, at this point, and nobody else really matters. And it's like, okay, yeah, main character and rival, you get your final forms. Just do it. And they're just like, alright. I should be like probably clarify a bit, 'cause it's not quite like, oh, you just unlock new forms. It's specifically kind of worse than that, because it's like, hey, in order to upgrade your Digimon even further, you need to take the spirits from every other main character and just put them all together. Like, Ophiamon specifically says, combine all your spirits into one, which they do not take literally because they combine all their spirits into two.
To combine all spirits into one later.
Yeah. Can you imagine? Because, like, of course, I know where this is going. Can you imagine if, like, they're like, oh, yeah, let's just give all our spirits to Takuya then. And he just, like, busted out Suzanomon, like, right now?
Pretty wild. Also, the problem would have been solved.
Yeah, he just busts out an ultra level and just one-shots Trubimon, just cleaves him in half, and they're like, okay, I guess that solves that. Yeah, just the duo, who are the losers, only good for spirit fodder. That's the thing, it's like, I understand the logic behind this. This is a good justification. Be like, oh hey, here's how we're gonna make Omega. The problem is, now nobody else can do things while the main duo are, like, active. So it's like, if we want other characters to be useful, then the main duo has to be, like, specifically out of commission somehow. And that's not gonna happen often, I'd feel like.
Except in this next episode.
Yeah. The duo who are the losers. Yeah, I like that. It's just wish everyone got to do it, like a mix and match. Yeah, like this should have been like, we're not just fusing spirits, we're also fusing the users, right? Like this should be like, okay, yeah, everyone, like half the group fuse with Koji and the other half fuses with Takuya, and they can like Gurren log in it, right? Like, oh hey, maybe for this attack we switch to, like, Izumi and she announces the thing, and, maybe you see a little, like, portrait of her off to the side, like, in, like, a, like, half-faded, like, thing or whatever. Or, like, hey, maybe this is, like, gonna be the big, like, ranged attack, so hey, this is the one where Junpei takes over, and he, like, just announces the big gun move, right? Like, there's ways they could have handled this, yeah. But now we gotta, like, give everything to the main duo and just shaft the side cast, because of course. Oh,
yeah,
man.
And so they have a big fight and they momentarily beat Cherubimon into submission. Or at least that's next episode. This episode ends with them getting the evolutions.
Yeah. Do we actually talk about their new forms for a bit?
Yeah, there they are.
Because, yeah, probably not the best image, but yeah, there they are.
Something happens to, what is it, Kaiser Garurumon or whatever? I already forgot. Forgot what they called him. Magna Garurumon?
Yeah.
At some point, he loses his armor, and he looks awful without it.
I kind of disagree. I think he looks worse, like, with his armor, specifically when it has the big jet wings out. Because, like, alright, let me just pull up an image for a second. Also, just to, like, yeah.
Hold on. This shot that Flo says looks really awkward, this shot is immediately after the big evolution scene where the art looks really good.
Oh, yeah.
So this looks especially bad.
I probably should have, like, got the individual evolution shots, but I just sort of looked at them and I was like, well, I mean, this is the shot of them together, so, like,
Yeah, but I noticed it as, like, why...
Small.
I look at the, like, I'm watching the episode, it's like, why do they follow up the evolution sequence with this?
Oh, man.
Like, in the evolution, Magna Garurumon's, like, arm cannon is gigantic and it looks really huge and imposing. And in this shot, it looks way smaller.
Oh, yeah, because it's like, there's a bit of weird perspective going on, right?
I don't know. I think it's just supposed to be bigger than this.
Yeah. Yeah, there are just lots of weird, like, I don't know who was responsible for this, but it's like, yeah, this, like, the more I just stare at it, the more it's like, But yeah, honestly, I do like Kaiser Greymon's, like, a design, or, like, I think in the dub, Emperor Greymon. Like, Kaiser Greymon, sure, cool design. He is a cool, like,
Yeah, he's pretty
Greymon
cool.
Knight Digimon with a cool sword cannon. Magna Garurumon, I have way different thoughts on. Because I did get this image just to specifically talk about this character.
Yeah. Look how much bigger the gun is.
Yeah. It's like, alright. I really love his gimmick where it's like, oh yeah, he's got all these like ballistics on it. It's like, okay, he like rushes in and he shoots all his ammo, like literally just exhausts all of it. And it's like, as he uses up a piece of his armor, it just like detaches and flies off all cool like. And it's like, it's a really cool, like very mecha feeling way to deal with this. The fact that he's literally a plane with a big, goofy, square gun.
Heck yeah, he's just a plane.
Yeah, it's like... I don't hate this as a mega. For, like, the big mega of, like, a main character, this is kinda lame. Could have just been mistaken since they're still getting used to drawing them at this point. Oh, it's just a mistake. Alright, yeah. Think the wings are a bit much design-wise. Yeah, it's like... I can get used to the big weird square gun. It's like, I don't like the fact that it looks like, literally like something you would have as like a toy, like even for Digimon standards. Like, I don't like that it looks like a big Nerf blaster. But like, other than that, the art's pretty nice. The wings kill it for me so hard. Cause it's like, oh, you're just a plane, huh?
Yeah, screw it. He's just a fighter jet.
He's a big goofy plane with big goofy toy guns. And he's got like the big Nerf gun, and he's got the gun that looks like it's gonna shoot little like plastic balls out of it. And it's like, oh, yeah, alright. Honestly, I know I've like shown the image before. Ancient Garurumon will have been a way better design for this. Just like, so, yeah.
The idea of him expending his armor to fire his artillery is like this is the part that bugs me about this Digimon. It's cool and all, but once he does that, he reverts to no armor, and he still apparently has attacks he can use, but like part of his moveset is just gone after that.
Yeah, like, he uses up all his ammo and armor, and then he becomes faster and uses his swords. Like, I get what you're saying, but it's like, you know what, I feel like that's a cool gimmick. I like that, yeah. I do like that it's like, in the Digimon card game, they have a pretty good interpretation of this, which is that it's like, when you evolve up to Magna Garurumon, you can just shed a bunch of your evolution sources to just remove Digimon from the field left and right like crazy. And it's like, yeah, once those are all gone, you're just left with a really strong Digimon that only has a basic attack. Like, you use up all of your ability potential in one burst, and then you just, like, you're just a very vanilla mega. And it's like, yeah, that's a cool gimmick. I like that. Yeah, unfortunately, like, Emperor Greymon didn't go off so lucky on the effect angle, though. Like, his big effect is he just can't be blocked, or he, like, gains memory, and it's like, oh, alright. Well, I guess that's kinda useful. It's not really as cool as any of the other big mega skills, but alright, sure, why not? It's not that he's unblockable, it's that it's like, if you try to block him, you just, like, give your opponent memory, so you just don't block him, and it's like, oh. Okay. But yeah, big evolution. And, I guess that's the episode, because, yeah, we're gonna move on to 36 now.
Yep.
Yeah, I probably should take 35 and 36 and make them, like, a single podcast, but, like, boy, 36 feels unrelated.
36 sucks.